This past week has been a busy one with many activities going on around the school. Last Friday was homecoming. Many activities were held throughout the week, and a pep rally was held Friday afternoon to get the student body fired up for the game. The cheerleaders did several routines, some humorous games were played, and the basketball players were introduced to an enthusiastic crowd. At halftime of the boys' game last Friday night, the homecoming Prince and Princess and King and Queen candidates were introduced to the crowd. Prince and Princess candidates included 7th graders Brittany Miller and Blake Flum, 8th graders Katie Smith and Joe Clarkson, freshmen Abby McKim and Dylan Redding. King and Queen candidates were sophomores Daisy Ledford and Robert Sapp, juniors Caroline Slavin and Jonathan Perry, and seniors Alexis Longano and Tony Rain. Last year's King and Queen, Tyler Blake and Kayla Hedinger, were on hand to crown the new royalty. Prince and Princess, Dylan Redding and Abby McKim, and King and Queen, Robert Sapp and Daisy Ledford. This year marks the 5th anniversary of the Brashear Lady Tigers' first state basketball championship. Between the girls' and boys' homecoming games last Friday night, a ceremony was held to honor the players from the 2 back-to-back state championship teams. Each player was presented with a souvenir hoodie, and all of them were introduced to the crowd. At the end of the introductions, the teams gathered at midcourt for one last All-Lady Tigers. Jump for Heart was held last Wednesday. With the help of the elementary student body, the event was extremely successful, raising $800 for the American Heart Association. A special thanks to Ms. Stevens for refreshments and the girls basketball team for their help, but most importantly, Ms. Fisher for sponsoring the event. This past Tuesday, the seniors of Brashear's 2008 graduating class were honored at Senior Recognition Night. Each senior and their parents were introduced with a brief biography. This year's seniors include David Anderson, Josiah Belzer, Tiffany Blake, Jeremy Clay, Jesse Hill, Tyler Horton, Haley Kelsey, Alexis Longano, JJ McFarland, Tony Rain, Christina Scudder, Monica Shaver, Jacob Shimon, and Cale Watson.
Last Friday, Brashear faced Novinger for homecoming night. In the girls' game, Brashear scored the first 4 points and led 13-6 after one quarter. Novinger bounced back in the second period of play and led 26-23 until a Haley Kelsey three-pointer tied the game as time expired in the first half. Brashear held a slim 38-37 lead after 3 quarters of play, and it was anybody's game as the clock ticked down with the score tied 48-48. Enter Caroline Slavin with a jumper from the elbow with 1.7 seconds left to seal the victory for Brashear. Slavin finished the night with 10 points for Brashear. Haley Kelsey and Jesse Hill were also in double figures with 16 and 12. Stephanie Elsie added 6, Emily Lodwig had 4, and Abby McKim scored 2 points. The Brashear boys jumped on Novinger early to take a 20-10 lead after one quarter and a 45-22 lead at halftime. By the end of the third quarter, Brashear had extended the lead to 66-36 and picked up the win by a final score of 78-45. Matt Thomas led all scorers with 19 points, with Cale Watson right behind him with 18 points. Trey Treasure added 13, Anthony Ambrosia had 7, Justin Hazen and Ryan Ferdig had 6 each, Kylie Watson had 4, David Anderson had 3, and Jacob Owen scored 2 points. Brashear faced North Shelby on Tuesday for senior night. When the Brashear Lady Tigers had last met the Lady Raiders during the Brashear tournament, things did not go well for Brashear. The Lady Tigers scored only 1 point in the second half of that loss as their offense tried to adjust to the loss of senior Christina Scudder, who had suffered a season-ending ACL injury a couple games earlier. It looked like North Shelby might have Brashear's number again as they held the Lady Tigers scoreless in the second quarter to take a 16-6 lead into the locker room. Brashear bounced back after halftime, turning the tables on North Shelby and holding them to only 5 points in the third quarter and 4 points in the final frame to grab a 29-25 win. Brashear still trailed 21-17 at the start of the fourth, but sank 8 of 9 free throws in the final quarter to seal the win. Haley Kelsey led all scorers with 16 points including the go-ahead bucket in the final minutes of the game. Emily Lodwig followed with 9, including a clutch pair of free throws in the final seconds to seal the win. Jessie Hill and Caroline Slavin also chipped in 2 points each. The Brashear boys also came into this game with a score to settle after taking a 1-point last-second loss to North Shelby on the Raiders' home court during the North Shelby tournament. North Shelby got off to a fast start, running up a 19-10 lead after one quarter and leading 28-23 going into halftime. Brashear stayed close and closed within 46-42 after 3 quarters. Brashear got offensive production from 5 different players in the pivotal fourth quarter and outscored North Shelby 20-14 to pick up the win by a score of 62-60. Trey Treasure led a trio of Tigers in double figures with 17, including 9 in the final quarter. Kale Watson had 16, Matt Thomas scored 10, Kylie Watson had 8, Jacob Shipman added 7, and Justin Hazen and Ryan Ferdig scored 2 points each.
And now we leave you with the BHS cheerleaders' homecoming dance routine.
Junior Hannah Bishop. Sophomore Alexis Carlson. Sophomore Ariel Smith. And sophomore Katie Stewart.